Currently, I'm not in Hyderabad. I'm in Srinagar, a beautiful place. Drive all the way in Ladakh. So I've added a lot of carbon emission during this whole exercise. I was at one point thought, can we link this whole road trip to carbon neutral? But then I got to know that I'm actually adding a lot of carbon to the atmosphere. So that's not a good sign from my side. But with that note, I would like to start my journey with Utkarsh, which has been a carbon neutral event. Friends, all of us have done quite a lot of event in YI, starting from Take Pride to conclaves and stuff like that. So when we started this idea of having a national conclave in Bangalore, Utkarsh, what could be different in Utkarsh? That was a why I was questioning myself. Having been in YI for such a long time, there's always something new to learn and do. That is what YI is all about. So we were brainstorming on this whole concept of Utkarsh, and then it chanced upon that why not make Utkarsh a carbon neutral event? It was a big task because at that point of time, I was very less aware of what carbon emission is all about. But then we wanted to take this up in Utkarsh. So I'm grateful to all my colleagues and friends in YI TICA region, all the chapter chairs and co-chairs who supported us in this endeavor. But there was a bigger question. How do we fund it? I mean, because it's a huge cost is involved in auditing and other stuffs. That's when Trivandrum pulled up and they said, we have a member who runs a consultant company, and probably we should talk to him for making this event audited by him. He's Anoop, and he's also part of today's call, and he runs a consultant company called Vidyut. So we spoke to him, and he subsidized that amount to a larger extent. I mean, almost to about 50%, because again, we are part of YI, and he's also part of YI member. So the whole the backbone was done that yes, we want to make Utkarsh a carbon neutral event, and there's a cost which is about X amount of money. And how do we get this money? Because as you know that we are all almost like a self-funded conclaves. We struggle to get the sponsorship and all, and the amount was huge. So that's when we thought, why not let's do a crowdfunding, not from outside YI, but within YI members. And we floated this idea with our NMT and GC first. And we're happy to tell you that 42 people, 42 members contributed towards this whole funds, and we were able to raise entire amount of getting this audited. And we raised that amount, and we closed that, the entire auditing work from Vidyut. Now, this all happened. I mean, the backbone was done, and how we started this whole exercise. It's not so difficult. I mean, carbon neutral sounds pretty much of a big hype. As an individual, we feel left out. We feel that we are a very small contributor towards this. But friends, trust me, the journey of acknowledging this issue is it's beautiful, not only for the mother nature, but also for you. And why I say that, it's very simple, that when you unclutter yourself, when you start making the behavior changes, when you start doing a mindful purchasing, unclutter yourself, trying to get on the journey of minimalism a bit, not extensively. Not only it helps mother nature, but it helps you as well. Take example, like instead of taking a lift, you take a stairs. Whom did you help? You help mother nature, definitely, and you help yourself as well, because you're going to get more fitter. So likewise, when you have uncluttered or you have less number of clothing in your wardrobe, it reduces your time to choose what to wear, so you become more efficient. Likewise, there are n number of examples when you start being mindful in your purchasing, being mindful in all your activities and all, it not only helps mother nature, but also helps you. So that's a thought I would like to give it to you. There's no compulsion. But at the same time, what I would like to tell you, all of you, is that it is not a difficult task. If you start making these behavior changes in our day-to-day activities, very simple ones, very, very simple ones. As simple as like when we did in Utkarsh, we asked members to carry their own toothbrush and toothpaste. Very simple. It is doable, Once we're in the hotel, most of the time we ask for housekeeping every day. Now, can we get away about it? We don't do housekeeping at home on the daily basis. So we did that in Utkarsh. So likewise, we had a lot of events, a lot of creatives we rolled out during the Utkarsh event. Before that, Piyush, can you just show a few of them on the screen? Oh yes, you are here. So we asked members to start carpooling during the event when they reach Bangalore. And a lot of members have come in bus. A lot of members used a public transport to reach to the venue. There were a member who has cycled from his hometown to Bangalore. So there were a lot of success stories, and it is possible. So the kick what you get from cycling from your hometown to Bangalore is phenomenally high, and you will get more fitter. So who is getting benefit? It's a win-win situation, not only yourself, but also Mother Nature. So these are small little changes, behavior changes. Can we have the next one, Piyush? So we during the event, we ran a couple of creatives which spoke about carpooling, which spoke about carrying your own toiletries. Be mindful when you fill up the plate. I mean, you'll be surprised to know that 30% of the food what we prepare, and I'm talking about the entire world, gets wasted. 30% is a huge, percentile. Now, how do we do that? When we are hungry, we generally tend to take a plate and start filling it up. There's a culture wherein if you take a smaller plate, you tend to reduce your wastage. So if you take a bigger plate, you tend to waste more. So these are small little minute changes you can bring in your lifestyle. In terms of clothing, all of us know that we have at least a dozen of clothes which we don't even wear it for a year. Why do we at the first place buy those things? How much amount of water is used to produce a pair of jeans. So we are aware of all this thing. Only thing is that we are not able to make changes because we are too busy in our own life. So when you start uncluttering yourself, you become a little more free in life. At the same time, you are having a beautiful journey. So what Mother Nature is trying to tell us is, guys, I'm not telling you to do a lot for me. Just be mindful. There is a concept called consumer mindset. I don't know, all of us, and at YI, we always try to advocate this message of creative mindset. So how many of us in this room are consumer mindset, and how many of us in this room are creative mindset? That's a question you have to answer. Nothing to us. So when you're in a consumer mindset, we start tending to buy stuff which we don't require on a daily basis, on an everyday basis. I know a couple of my friends who has set up aside a certain amount of money that for this year, I'm going to spend X amount of money for my purchasing. So what happens in this whole process? He's saving money. That money goes for probably your investment in other fields. But at the same time, you're mindful when you're buying. When you go to a shop, you don't do an impulsive buying. You start thinking, okay, I have only 50,000 rupees to spend this year. If I buy this, do I require this? No, I don't require it. So why do I need to buy it? So what happens in this process? You are reducing carbon footprint, and this is a very serious issue. As an individual, it has to be a movement. Why is a movement? So climate change has to be a movement. It cannot be a 1 week session, wherein all of us come to a session, do a kind of a event, and that's it. Tomorrow we go back and we forget. No, that shouldn't be. We should be cautious about our behavior on a daily basis. And that's what we try to bring this change in Utkarsh. And very happy that a lot of members were very, energetic about it. We gave away the play cards, we gave away the name tag, everything was digital. And we have reduced, about 30% of our carbon emission, which we would have if we would not have made this exercise. It was a simple exercise. We bought about 60 tons of carbon neutral, spending X amount of money. And that's when we make Utkarsh a carbon neutral event. So Utkarsh became a kind of a talking point. I'm not saying that we are very proud that Utkarsh became a carbon neutral event. No, we are not at all. We want to see all the chapters start talking about it, an individual talking about carbon neutral, or at least a journey. It's so disheartening. Trust me, guys. When I go to any of the YI events, and there are plastic bottles, that small plastic bottles, been kept across all the tables. And at the end of the session, when I see half of the bottles are not used, half of the bottles are half used, you are wasting not only water, you are wasting also plastic. Can you not carry a bottle for any of the events, or put a bigger 25-liter cistern? It is how difficult it is. When we talk about we are the change for tomorrow and all the chapters are not doing it, it's disheartening. It really pains me. And it is not difficult. A very simple task of not letting any of the chapters, YI chapters, having a plastic bottle in any of the event. Why is it so difficult? It is not. But why are we not thinking in those lines? Because we are cluttered with too many things in our mind. That's the change we want to make, and it is very, very easy. And, we are a developing country, and I'm sure very soon we are going to become a developed country. And for becoming a developed country, it has to be a developed mind. That is most important. I mean, all of us are so self-centered. I mean, sorry to say, but most of us, including myself, most of the time we are so self-centered in living our life that we forget the world outside. We always think of a home first, but think of your heart first. It is not so difficult, because what action you make today is going to lead the life of your children tomorrow. Your children are directly related to your action today. If you don't take action, fine, it's okay. Your generation next is going to suffer for it. And it is not, you know that example, in Europe is suffering from water. We have seen so many cities are suffering with water. There is a heat wave, there's a drought, there is a landfills, there are so many things are happening. Is it happening because of what? It is happening because of our behavior. And we are talking about UN to take actions, or probably a bigger bodies to take actions and all this thing. I mean, fine, those things will happen. But if all of us as an individual start taking smaller actions and also inspire others people, friends and family around, I'm sure this is not a very difficult task to tackle. A lot of times when we go to Mother Nature, we are in beautiful space and all, we would like to take care of Mother Nature. We give this statement that we would like to take care of it. Mother Nature don't require our services. We require us to be more mindful, not Mother Nature. She knows how to probably take care of herself. It will happen. We have seen example, earthquakes and all these things. It will happen. So challenge is for the poor, and the poorest would suffer more. Rich and the richer is not going to suffer more, because they're going to buy water even if it is 100 rupees a liter tomorrow. But the poor and the poorest are definitely going to suffer more. So what kind of life are we living? That is a question I would like to leave all of you. And I'm very happy that 33 chapters, not 32 chapters, have taken a significant role in addressing this issue. And they are mindful, and they're saying that, boss, I'm not going to make my chapter carbon neutral, but I'm going to make an efforts to go in that direction. And that is very important. So today we are going to sign 33 chapters. 33 chapters we're going to sign today, saying that we are going to implement whatever small little changes possible to make this as a carbon neutral events in their own chapter. But before that, I would like to call upon Anoop. Anoop is from Vidyuti Consultant. He's a Trivandrum. He's also a YA member, who has been a fundamental person in our role to make changes in Utkarsh. He runs a consultant company, and I would like him to talk a little bit about Utkarsh and what good things we did, and what could be better as we move ahead in YI. So over to Anoop, please.
Thanks, Praveen. Thanks for the intro. I think I have less to talk about because Praveen and Praveen, both of you have covered a lot of topic which I was supposed to, say. And Praveen, I still remember the first call which we had when we were talking about this Utkarsh. And I was so happy to give you support in making that event carbon neutral. So before I start my slide showing how we move forward with this Utkarsh event, let me put a few comments which I have to all of the members here. So first is that as Praveen and Prabin, both of them were focusing on the awareness and capacity building, which is still lacking. That's the reason why common people are not aware and not able to move forward. But even they are not able to understand what this exactly is. And secondly, the market maturity. That is, we don't have any policies in place. We don't have regulations in place, but we have something which is coming up. As Praveen was mentioning last month, there was a regulation which was disclosed. I mean, and in that it specifically mentioned that the credits which we have generated in India is not going to be exported to other part of the world, because India need immense amount of carbon credits to decarbonize its economy itself. And the third point is about Saurabh asking about a question that why big boys are doing and why MSMEs can't do it. To be honest, MSME contribute to almost 80% or 70% of the global economy, and the others are doing it because of majority of them are doing because of the investor pressure. And that's something which, as Praveen was mentioning, all the big boys will keep doing what they were doing because they can afford it. But SMEs and MSMEs, or especially MSMEs, they are the one who will take the hit, to be honest. And last but not the least, the disclosure, as Praveen was mentioning, Mr. Mishra was mentioning, disclosure is something which is still lacking in all the aspects, because if we disclose everything to the public, people will stop buying their products and services, so that is going to bring in a huge impact. So let me start my slide, how this event went through. I'll just give you a quick brief. Just a minute. I hope you can see my screen, right? Praveen, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we just saw for a glimpse here. Now it's not there.
How about now?
Yes. There's a pop-up, Anoop, in your screen, give subtitles a try. Can you just remove that, please?
Oh, sorry.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so Utkarsh basically was something which we conducted as a kind of a continuation of what we have done in Via Trivandrum. That is, we have conducted our annual event as a carbon neutral event in last year, and that led to the platform where we had a chance to interact with Praveen and his team. So we as Vaidati and TreeTag were the partners for kind of MRV, which Praveen, Mr. Bishra was mentioning. So we conducted the entire MRV for the event, and I'm skipping all the slides because everything has been covered. So is that okay, Praveen?
Yeah, that's fine. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So to give you a nutshell, so when you look at the carbon emission, the components, the major components of carbon emissions are energy, agriculture, waste, and industrial emissions. So out of this, energy is something very crucial, which comes from transportation, energy used in buildings, and so forth, which you can see from the data shown here. So we, as a team, we were capturing all these components, and we were having two phases. So phase one is pre-event and during the event. The phase two is during the event. So pre-event, we did all the homework to reduce all this emissions based on each component. And phase two was during the event. We ensured that these were actually covered during the event. So these are the three elements which we captured, that is scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions of the event, where you have all the for example, scope 1 is a direct emission based on the energy used at the venue. Scope 2 is all the supply chain and other related aspects, and scope 3 are the indirect emissions, which are based on the entire value chain which is involved in the event. And we started off by Runak, the national chair, signing off kind of a declaration form saying that this is going to be done as a carbon neutral event, and which is kind of a document which enables the verification process to ensure that this is done with a very proper due diligence. So when you look at these are the scope emissions which we have captured at the venue. So we had direct emissions of diesel generator emitting approximately 2 tons of CO2, scope 2 emissions of 4 tons of CO2, that is directly from the grid, and scope 3 emissions from the value chain, which is participant travel, we have stationary, food at venue, hotel accommodation, and so forth. So when you look at this overall mapping, scope 3 was something which was so high, and especially the food at venue was something which was contributing to the most of our events. As Praveen was rightly mentioning, if you can replace the plastic bottles itself, it is going to bring in a lot of impact. And if you plan your food very well in advance, and that is also a possible way to reduce your emissions. So these were the things which we factored in for Utkarsh before the event. And these are the kind of the sample data, these are the participant list, and we have the, kind of a template where we capture all this data during the event and before the event. So in 7 July 2020, the starter, the check-in of the participants were happening. So our team was there in 2 days advance to ensure all things are placed with the hospitality team of the hotel venue and YI organizing team, so that we keep a close track of all the monitoring of our participant check-in and check-out. So even at venue, I was so glad to see that we used the LED displays, which reduced a lot of carbon emission by, instead of having, let's say, a plastic flex banner, this could have impacted more. And both the venue, the event happened in two venues, that is Hotel Radisson and IAM, where our team was fully fledged to monitor all the emissions based on scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. So the sources of emission in nutshell, likewise I've shown in the other infographic. Here it is diesel consumption. It's summarizing. So here it is a diesel consumption at the venue, energy consumption from the grid, and other stationary items such as gift and papers. Then transportation, which is participants, speakers, event management team. Then our own team who were flying out, flying in. So we prefer to move across the entire journey through public transport. So our team is so indulged in the process that they get close with the participant. They call the participant and ask what their, what's the mode of transport which they're using, what's the preference of food which you're going to have. So why are you willing to change it to a vegetarian diet, or so forth. So these were the exercises which we did in the overall process. Then the hotel stay, as Praveen was mentioning, we had an option to the participants to choose whether they need to change their towels every day or just one time for the entire event. And so this is kind of a summary of the total emissions. So if you look at the graph, if you look at the numbers here, the participant transport and the food, these were the two components which had the major emission, to be honest. And the transport and the food. Yeah, that's right. So that's contributing to almost 60% of the event carbon emission. So if you guys, as we as all chapters make a kind of a framework in capturing these components and reducing those, would bring a huge impact on a national level. So this is something which I would recommend to the entire chapters present here. The sources of emission, again, we have put in some uncertainty factor, because we are not, as someone would raise a question, so are you sure that this is the exact amount of carbon emission which has been captured, which has been emitted? So we would say we can't do that as according to the current situation, as Mr. Mishra was has come up with a solution for digitally monitoring all those things, could definitely bring in those gaps between the dots. So so we have put in a contingency factor, and we have rounded off to 60 tons of carbon emission. In place of 100 tons, it could have potentially impacted due to the event. So how did we reduce that 40-ton carbon emission? Is because of the management, because of the organizing committee leadership, and of course the participants sincere participation in terms of understanding the consequences and understanding the real impact which we are trying to make. And that's a huge message. When we compare the 100 tons, if it would have been emitted, we are comparing that with for 60 with uncertainty on top of it. So we can do it if we are educated well, or we are aware about all these components across the value chain. So this is just a pictorial representation, so I don't want to go in detail into this. So in total, the 62% is the indirect emission from other sources, which we have to reduce. And so I think that showcases how the event has been monitored. And how did we offset the carbon? So we purchased carbon credits from Sahyadri Industries Limited, who is generating energy from renewable energy, energy from wind energy. So that has been verified and listed in CDM according to the process which Mr. Mishra was saying. So we can we can purchase those from the CDM platform. So the CDM is carbon development mechanism. So that's a platform where all this voluntary carbon credits are listed. And we chose a small scale industry because they have done a huge impact. They have installed this wind farm in a small place, which is somehow generating a huge amount of impact. Let's say 13,000 tons of CO2 every year. Their annual savings of carbon emission. So this is the certificate which we purchased from the platform, which is issued in the name of CIA Yi UTKARSH, and this is the 60 carbon credits which we have bought from the serial numbers which you can see there. And what enabled us to do all those things for UTKARSH is something which you can see from here. So we are a kind of a small startup which we started during the COVID pandemic days, that is start of 2020. And this is the impact overall which we have done in the last 3 years down the line. So we have been listed in one of the first company who has enabled the women entrepreneurship as per the UN Women United Nations, the regulatory framework. So we were the first company in Kerala to enable that, and we have our management is almost 60% plus from our women. So if you look at the projects which we have completed, so these are the numbers which are talking real sense. We have done that impact in the market, which enabled us to support UTKARSH in making the event carbon neutral. And now this is the national talk in the same platform. And I should thank Praveen for enabling this entire process. So that's my coordinates, and if anyone would like to know more about the processes and the way in which especially MSMEs who intend to become carbon neutral, we are there to support you. And case-to-case basis, even we provide the voluntary support for YI members especially. And as Praveen also mentioned about the cloud platform, which we used for UTKARSH, is also from our own parent company, which is called Tree Tag, where we conduct tree plantation drives on a digital platform. And so that's all from my side. Sorry if I've taken more time from you, Praveen.
Right. No, thanks, Anoop. That was very informative as well. At the same time, I would like to inform all the chapters that if any one of your chapter would like to understand this further and would like to make any of your upcoming event or probably your annual day a carbon neutral event, please get in touch with Anoop. We have worked out a special, very special pricing for all the YI chapters. Before I invite Ronak on this, I would like to say, guys, there's a small task for all of you. Many of us have children at home. So please, when you go back home, just try to count how number of pencils they have at their work, at the desk. The pencils what we buy, generally we buy a pack of 10 and we keep on buying, and we don't realize 3 years back before the pandemic, around the pandemic when it hit, I just checked upon my office space for all the stationaries what I had, and I make the entire bulk of my stationery at one place. Trust me, for 2 years, I did not have to buy any stationaries. That was the number of stationaries I had at my office. There are small little things what we can do. Also, I had gone through this book called How to Reduce Your Carbon Footprint. I've just put in the chat as well. This is a very small, easy to read book. I would request all the members to read this book. And now may I request Ronak to call upon all the chapters, 33 chapters, who have been kind enough and also understand the magnitude of this issue and coming up and signing this whole thing. Over to you, Ronak, please.
Thank you, Praveen. Thanks, Anoop. And guys, can we have a gallery view when all the cameras on, please? So how this UTKARSH thing started and all, I'll just add a brief to how it started. I know there are a lot of people who are actually passionate about climate change here. I have not seen anyone as passionate as you are. Let me be very, very honest, though Piyush and Badna both are here. But you are, I think, if you want to find an or maybe a brand ambassador of climate change, I think I should, Piyush and Madna, you should make Praveen as a brand ambassador of climate change. I don't think so anybody is as passionate as Praveen is here. Uh, Piyush, Madna, of course, both of you guys. But this whole idea of having a carbon neutral event, Praveen, before you spoke about it, somebody did speak to me about it when we were doing BBM. And that person is on the screen. Who is the moderator here? Can we highlight Sunny Agarwal, please, from Siliguri? Uh, I don't know how to highlight. Yes, add spotlight. So Sunny was the guy who actually, sorry, Sunny, for putting you on the spot. I know you had a late night last night, but yeah, he was the guy who told me in Calcutta during DBM, why are we wasting so many water bottles? Why shouldn't, as an organization, we start doing carbon neutral events? And Sunny, how did that idea come across? Do you want to talk a bit about it? Trust me, Praveen, after you, Madna, Piyush, if anybody has spoken to me offline about climate change, this is the guy. He's always in pushing me, and I always see him carrying a water bottle wherever he is. So, Sunny. Okay, we'll have to unmute Sunny. I think the admin has to unmute Sunny.
Yeah, now, Sunny, you can do it now. I've given you the co-host rights.
Right, thanks.
Hi, everyone. So I'm a very new member to YI. So, like Take Pride was one of the first events that I was supposed to attend. And I was recently appointed as the chair of climate change. So we went to this one of the family retreats, and there I told my friends that I just want to be part of climate change because I think that is a sensitive topic for me. So then Take Pride was supposed to happen, and then randomly I just thought one day, I was new to the system, I didn't know what are the protocols. So I just messaged in the groups like, let's try and do things little differently and make it a carbon neutral event in the National Climate Change group. But then, I was new to it, so I didn't know how to go about it, and I understood that last minute things are not possible because so much has gone into Take Pride. So then I met Ronak, and then I told him, let's just start talking about it so that people get conscious about it. And then so that happened, and then we started taking this forward. So in Siliguri also, in one of the events, we had a awards night. So we had called this guy who is an environmentalist. So he specifically said that these are my ask. You cannot put all these things. No plastic. It has to be an eco-friendly event. No glass. No plastic bottles. So it's doable. So that event went very nicely, very smoothly, and I think we saved a lot of money also. So I think it's just about awakening, and and why is such a strong platform, and if we raise this voice, it is doable. So everyday environmentalism, as we say, is very important, which we have to inculcate in our members group everywhere. People are there who get annoyed with it. They say ki, this is rubbish. These plastic bottles are recyclable. But I'm like, a lot of energy goes to make those plastic bottles. So that is the problem which people don't understand. So yeah, I carry my water bottle everywhere, and they make fun out of it also. But I think it's getting normal now. So that's what we have to do. We have to make things normal. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sunny. So, guys, the reason why I got him on the main spotlight was, I think each and every of our EC members, each and every of our members, that is, as chapter leaders, as leaders of the organization, we have to ensure that at least when 4,800 of us are speaking the same language, that's where we will make a difference. That's where we will make an impact. And if Sunny, who is just probably 2 years old in the system, Sunny, if I'm not wrong, you're 2 years old, right? If he can talk about it, I'm sure your EC members also can talk about it. Each and every member can also talk about it. Raipur, I went to, their RCM was a carbon neutral event. So yes, Utkarsh was just a trailer, and Praveen, it really helps when you start something, chapters do start following. If they find value in it. So for the RCM, I saw in all the bottles, there was a sticker saying that it was all glass bottles, and there was a sticker saying, so Pratik is here, Alok is here. There was a sticker saying that it's all carbon neutral event, and there was a glass bottle everywhere. So slowly that change is coming, and we as an organization, we as leaders, we have to ensure that slowly this change should come in all the chapters and not just one or two. Yes, so we already know about the Paris Agreement, where India has told that by 2070 we will try and be carbon net zero, where else rest of the countries have targeted as 2050. Can we as young Indians promise that we will try and make our country a net zero by 2047, where India turns 100? So we all know we've been talking about Amrit Kal. We are talking about moving from Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to India at 100. Everybody has already started planning India at 100. Can we all take a pledge today that when India turns 100, we will try and make our country a net zero carbon country? Can we do it? So as a start today, one, I think you already have these documents. Can we all sign this document, make a pledge today that we will slowly move? And first thing is make our chapters carbon neutral, all the events that we do carbon neutral, or the activity we do, make it carbon neutral. And slowly as an organization, nationally, we can probably not today, but in 2 or 3 years, we can say that we are not only carbon neutral, but with the all tree plantations we are doing, all the Miyawaki that we are doing, can we all say that we can be that organization in India who's holding carbon credits also? So that was my vision when I spoke to Piyush, Praveen, Madna at the beginning of the year, as in what you want out of as in climate change. What do you want climate change to achieve? This is what my vision, my dream of climate change vertical in YI is for the next 2 or 3 years. Can we become an organization who is carbon credit positive? So that I can't do alone, Piyush can't do alone, Praveen or Madna, nobody can do alone. All of us has to do together. So let's today take a pledge. I will hand over to Piyush and Praveen. If we can go ahead, sign the document and start with making our chapters carbon positive, right? Thank you so much, Piyush. Thank you so much, Praveen. And thank you so much, Madna. All the best, guys.
Thank you so much. Piyush, can we have the spotlight on all the chapters who are going to sign the documents now?
Yes, and please, everyone, can we switch on the cameras?
Praveen, we removed the spotlight because
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Yes.
And I think Sandeep could just take a snapshot of this, please.
Yes, Praveen, I'm on it. I'm on it. Yes, Praveen.
All right, lovely.
Remove the background. I think for the picture to come, you'll have to remove your background and blur and everything so that this can come clear. Are you guys ready? Good.
All right. So 33 chapters are signing the documents today, and this is just a beginning. I'm so happy and proud to be a part of this meeting.
Not just 33 chapters. I am signing on behalf of all the chapters also. Yeah.
Great. All right.
Nobody gets to escape out of it. We will do it one day, very soon.
Right.
So, cameras on for a picture, guys. Quick.
Everyone, the screen on, please. The video on, please. Still have a couple of people who have not switched on their cameras.
Doesn't matter if you don't have the printout. It's all fine, guys. Vicky, Nitya, Sunny, Sivagan, Arun, RG. That's not me though. Divya. Sorry, I'm taking names, but please switch on your cameras. Yep. And Dilip is also here. Dilip, sorry, I missed you. Okay. Yep. Are we good to go?
Yes.
Anyone with the screenshot?
Yes, we've already posted, Rana. In the
Thank you, guys. Thank you so
guys.
much. Dilip?
Ronak, just give me a moment. Actually, Dilip can't speak. I will just give him the host. Right.
Yes.
Yes. I've just given. Yes. Dilip, you can unmute yourself.
So congratulations. I think it's a great start. So let's sustain this. That's going to be the key. As me and Ronak spoke during the inauguration, climate change. The first thing is personal responsibility. Today we have taken that personal responsibility. Let's sustain this personal responsibility. Not only individually, like how Sunny spoke. I think that's a great start. He literally showcased what is personal responsibility. So let's take the same personal responsibility to our chapters too. So that's our only request. Great show, Piyush. Great show, Madana. And Praveen, hats off, brother. You started it and it's scaling up right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think Rajni's got his hand up. Oh, Sevugan, that's buddy. You have to unmute. Wait, you can't talk like this. Sandeep, can you move that?
Yes. Yeah, he can do it now.
Yes, we're all going for a rural visit. That's why I joined in from the car. One quick thing we also forgot to mention. I think.
Are you
we have
driving?
leakage.
Are you driving?
Yeah, we've stopped the car.
Well,
So yes, we stopped it. We have Ricky Cage, who's the double Granny Award winner as a honorary member in Bangalore. I think we've not mentioned it. If we collectively do something big, he can endorse us. That's something, a big thing happened as a chapter. I think that's something he will be available. When we met him, he said, if we collectively making a bigger impact, I'll always support. That's something is available for us. If we collectively do, we can leverage this connector.
Thanks.
And the fashion show, which we did, sustainable thing. So again, in Utkarsh, that again chapters can easily replicate. We'll be happy to support from Bangalore.
Arvind, please share pictures of those climate change.
We will share it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I think over to Piyush for closing, or you are calling Mandanas for the closing remark, please.
Over to Madna. Thank you, Ronak.
Okay.
Over to Madna for closing.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here for the final event of the week of the summit. I'm glad to summarize the events of this past week and to thank all of our stakeholders and audience for their participation. We have had a very busy week with young Indians across 57 cities in the country, working on initiatives to keep our climate action week alive and impactful. We have had our chapter chairs and climate chairs working through the clock to engage all of our stakeholders in schools, colleges, and villages with meaningful, sustainable activities on the ground. I would like to thank my team in particular, each and every climate chair, my regional team leaders, my co-chair, all of them who made us believe there is hope for a meaningful and sustainable future if we walk the talk. In this last year, I have taken my inspiration from watching all of you deliver our national agenda with insightful and effective action. The agenda of the YI climate change vertical nationally is to engage our stakeholders in tackling climate change through meaningful action on the ground. We have had excellent knowledge partners in the last couple of years to help us in our journey. We started last year with afforestation as one of our primary goals, particularly through Miyawaki tree plantation. It was a tough challenge to take up in the middle of a pandemic, but our chapters delivered beyond our expectations with more than 6 lakh saplings across the country in under 6 months. So if we believe in something, we can achieve it. This is not a small number. And I think this is the kind of work we are capable of achieving if we put our minds to it. This year, in addition to afforestation, we have taken up water conservation and waste management among our goals. This week is proof that with the kind of leaders we have working on the ground, we will create more and more impact with each activity. We set the momentum this week with the Climate Action Summit, bringing in expert speakers to address some of the most important questions on climate change, especially on how the youth of our country can participate in climate action. We have had 3 specific panel discussions on the subjects of youth and climate change, climate education, preservation of air, water, land for climate action, and a special workshop on climate simulation to understand the impacts of climate change. To briefly summarize, Mr. Pratap Raju and Ms. Pauline Lavartua, they showed us the opportunities available for young people in the climate space. Their success stories as young entrepreneurs, they are strong encouragement for climate professionals and young entrepreneurs to look at climate action as a sustainable and successful career. We had Ms. Hita Lakhani, Ms. Shrishti Singh, and Mr. Akhilesh Anil Kumar discuss climate education in the classroom. Akhilesh showed that it's possible for a young climate entrepreneur to make the state government of Kerala to take note of his app for climate education. All of our three speakers will be guiding us in our journey forward to extend climate education across all classrooms in India. Here in CII Tamil Nadu, we have had an industry body taking special interest in climate education for an entire state. So this is just the beginning, and we are sure that YI will be the organization to take climate education across the country very soon. Mr. Shrey Goyal and Mr. Bhavesh Swami and Ms. Kanchana Veerakon showed us the reality of uncontrolled consumption of our natural resources. It showed us the bleak picture of a future if we don't take climate action right now. We had a climate simulation workshop by Mr. Johan Fernandez and Mr. Amit Pandey. They proved to us that we need to take action on all fronts, multiple fronts, to combat climate change. And today we had a very informative session on carbon blockchains. How can we utilize carbon offsets to minimize our carbon footprint? I think these are all emerging ways in which we can, as an organization, try to not only reduce our carbon footprint, but also use our afforestation techniques to offer carbon credits through our organization to other people who want to offset their carbon footprints. I would like to thank all of our chairs in the entire 57 cities who took this week seriously with all the activities they have been doing through the week. I think my own particular journey in YI, I joined 15 years ago as an architect, but just being in the climate vertical, environment vertical as it was called then for 5 years, it changed my perception of what is sustainability. It led me to do a degree in environmental science. That was the extent to which YI can change your life if you actually let it change your mind, keep an open mind, come into it, look at the people working around you, see the kind of speakers we bring to the forum. And if you soak yourselves in this experience, there is no way you can move out of the organization without changing a part of yourself. Our 6 regional climate team leaders, Vignesh, Pradeep, Tatik, Arpit, Pulkit, Mapuya, they have worked very hard to make this week and year count. Ronak, Dilip, Piyush, they are the moderator and the other moderators from NMT. They have given their time to ensure this week has maximum outreach. Whether it is our planet, country, or this organization, we need to put aside all of our differences and collaborate to make us survive on this planet possible. We have moved beyond the era of greed and ambition. Anyone clinging to outmoded ways of living and working on this planet are going to be left behind. It's a people movement, and we as young Indians, we are going to make a difference in our path to sustainability. As young Indians, we can, we will. Thank you for being here today.
Right. So I think, thanks a lot, guys. Piyush, we're good to go.
Yes, thank you, guys.